It's gonna be a spinning back kick knockout, man.
God damn.
Alexander the Great, man. Yo! He's talking about Alexander the Great, man.
Max Holloway's going in there, and he's
Better
getting
chewy
the
on it.
fucking belt back.
Who has that dog in him? Who's really gonna go to that last round and just sit down and be like, I'm willing to die right here, homie?
I'm gonna say that straight up right now. Jessica I, if she was a men's fighter, she would have been cut from the UFC, bro.
Out the medicines. We've been on that rock star regimen, knowing that I'm heaven sent, higher than I ever been. I got a problem with.
What's going on, guys, and welcome to Totally Blitzed Podcast. And this is the Fight Club, and we're talking UFC 276, deepest card of the year on paper. And before we jump into it, introduce our host for the show, do us one favor, go down and like this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And if you aren't watching us on YouTube and you need a podcast, we're anywhere you listen to your podcast, go find us at Totally Blitz Podcast. But let's get into the action today. I'm Paul Pick'em Win'em Concha, the drunk gambler. I got my shot today. I got the old bunk rum.
That boy is a fucking demon.
And let's talk our shit. Who else is with me?
Hey man, you already know it's your boy Lil KK, aka the Don PYE, aka the motherfucker with a bunch of school spirit right now. Because I just got accepted into my digital media technology program. So pretty much no more math classes, you bitch. We straight camera shit. Fuck what you heard. But hey man, I'll be out here. We finna talk the best fight card of the fucking year. Man, who else we with, man?
What's going on, y'all boys? You ain't no PT. Man, I'm ready to get into it, man.
Man, this fucking card is deep. And where's it going? Is it in Las Vegas? Where is this fight? Yeah, in T-Mobile Arena's Las Vegas, Nevada, July 2nd. Mark your fucking calendars.
Paul, man, if you like this shit, I fucking love it, bro. I'm not gonna hold you. I usually tell myself I'm not gonna say this is gonna be the best card I've seen all year.
Waiting for this card for a minute too.
But when they announced this card, how deep it was, and I wouldn't say it was during UFC 270.
Yeah, nah, we've been waiting for this.
273, the one that was in Jacksonville, and they showed all this, and I just found out that there was a such thing as International Fight Week.
Always.
Wow. I can't control myself. I'm waiting for this one, dog. This is about to be a fucking.
Bro,
this is gonna be a fucking. This is gonna be some great shit, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm looking most forward to Max Holloway. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to see what Russians do. Big dog. That boy going. Big dogs fight each other like that. But it's the third time. I'm really looking forward to that fight. What fight is catching you guys' eyes on the card, is making you sit down and say, like, yo, no matter what, for 25 minutes or 15 minutes, I will be paying attention to this shit.
Bullshit, I'll say the same pick as you, man. I'm so ready for that trilogy fight, bro. Everything I'm seeing, just watching the countdown, bro. That shit got me so hyped watching the countdown for the trilogy, man. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
I guess I don't want to co-sign.
Co-main event for a trilogy fight? Like, that's crazy.
I don't want to co-sign, so I'll give out some under-the-radar picks for some people. Robbie Lawler versus Brian Barbarina. I said this before. Last time Brian Barbarana fought in UFC Columbus against Matt Brown, and I said that would be fight of the night. I think Robbie Lawler versus we got two people literally who are like dirty boxers, the fucking brawlers who don't really do much of takedowns, and they like to throw elbows. They like to get on the inside. Like, this is gonna be a fucking 3-round, 5-minute each round war. And Robbie Lawler is 40 years old, so it's like, does he still have it in his gas tank? Does he have one more brawl on him?
He's 40,
but former champ in like 2016. So like he was 35 at champ. So like he ages like fine wine. And then the other one I would say is the last fight on the prelims, Brad Rodell versus Jalen Turner. Like, Jalen Turner is a fucking a very hyped prospect. And this is his very first real challenge. He's getting a ranked opponent in Rodell. And Rodell's a Muay Thai. He used to be a trainer. He used to be a training for Muay Thai because he was so good. And boy, he like Turner's the outside, like Israel Adesanya likes to fight from the outside, and Brad Turner, the Muay Thai fighters, like to get on the inside and make shit dirty. So that's just like stylistically, he's gonna line up to be a very good fight.
The shit's gonna be lit, man. 18 sellouts in a row. These motherfuckers are coming with it, man. This is supposed to be the one. Until Abu Dhabi happens. But until then, this is gonna be the one.
Shit, this one. What's up, Mark?
Tell Dana to come to Tampa. We'll sell that bitch out too.
We'll sell the fuck out that motherfucker. I'll buy 4 tickets.
Well, I'll buy 10. I don't give a fuck. We're bringing everybody.
I'm trying to get like Marcus. I'm trying to get like Marcus. Marcus buying 10. I was buying 4, but I was really gonna sell 2 of them.
I'm selling all of them.
Oh damn!
Marcus still watching on the ESPN app. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'll be outside the stadium.
Nigga be like, hey, bro, nigga that bought 10 tickets? Nah, I'm the nigga that flipped 10 tickets.
right. I got it back in my pocket now.
Oh, terrible.
Oh, man. Where do you want to start? This shit is lit, man.
I want to say our very first fight we're going to talk today is the second fight on the early prelims. We got Jessica I ranked 10th versus Macy Barber ranked 13th. And you usually never see 2 top 15 ranked fighters on an early prelim. So like for us to start off with this one should let people know how deep of a card we got.
Tell me about that. Because you know how me and Marcus love women's fighting. So
the UFC women, bro, they had it.
The UFC girls are the reasons why I say the word bitches less. I'd be like, dang, like these. If I met them, they how are you doing, miss? Like respect. Like I've noticed it's been slipping into my game. I be calling girls. I be like, damn girl, you need to chill. But it used to be, damn bitch, shut the fuck up. UFC will humble you. So tell me about these two. What's up with them, man?
So Jessica I's been around forever. Jessica I's I don't know her first fight, but I want to say like 2014. So she's been in the UFC for a minute. She likes to make fights dirty. She's not the most technical. She's kind of slower. She's bigger though. And Macy Barber is a young, talented fighter. I think she's 24. She mixes everything well with like takedowns, leg kicks to like body shots. Like she does everything pretty well. And this is probably her first real test because she had unranked fighters here. So like if she beats this older Jessica I, it kind of shows in this division, especially at the age of 24. And just to show you how hyped of a prospect she was, a lot of people had her picked to be like the youngest champion ever. So like she has a lot of like coming with her. I would say that it's straight up right now. Jessica I, if she was a men's fighter, she would have been cut from the UFC, bro. She is 5-9 since joining the UFC. She's on a 3-fight losing streak. She had a 5-fight losing streak before. So 5-9 since joining the UFC, and she hasn't changed her game. She hasn't looked any better. Literally, Jessica I's best game plan is to beat people by split decision. She's going to get in there, fight you dirty. I'm going to get hit. You're going to get hit. And maybe I hit a little harder and the judges give me that round. But she doesn't ever bring anything to the table to like overwhelmingly beat opponents. And that's why she's 5-9. But don't let me be biased. But like that's also why I think Macy Barber is taking the cake on this one. Like Macy Barber got a future ahead of her.
But I didn't even know you could have a losing record in the UFC. The only time I ever seen somebody with a losing record was like Brock Lesnar when he went 0-1. Like,
it's the women's UFC, and it usually happens whenever these people have been around forever. So they like people see their names, like so you don't even know that they're 5-9. You just know the name Jessica I. You don't realize that like every time she fights, she usually loses. But to give her credit, she did lose to like Julia Pena, Sarah McMahon,
Pena,
Joanna Wood. Like she's lost to people that are literally like big names in the division. So it's not like she's losing to like nobodies.
But damn, you said she would have got cut.
My only reason for saying that though is because women's fighters, they don't get cut as often because there's not as many. So like that's why you see these women fighters around forever.
You gotta kind of keep them in there.
Yeah, like because the men's fighters, it's so some people like Rachmanov was unranked prior. Like there are so many people waiting to be ranked. Whereas in the UFC for women, I feel like there's only like 20 women in a division. So as long as you're top 15, you're ranked. How about y'all though? I mean, you got the fucking old dog of the vet, and then there's 20. I mean, she's 24, so she still has room to grow. She's not like a polished prospect.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I really expected Paul to give me like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a close fight. Nah, I'm taking a young prospect. What 5-9?
Hey, but you just told me she's about to get cut, bro. I'm not picking her.
5-9?
5-9, bro.
I didn't know you could do that professionally. Like you could have a losing record.
That's a fucking NFL record.
And she's on 276.
She must be like a gate. She must be a nice gatekeeper.
Yeah, it's probably
she's
good.
A gatekeeper, but she's not a nice gatekeeper because she lets everybody through the gate. That's how I explain it.
God damn, we're dropping fucking grenades.
But yeah, I mean, we gotta just breeze on through that one. Next fight is gonna be a lot. I think this is gonna be a great fight, especially for an early prelim. We got number 9 ranked Uriah Hall, who honestly might be a Hall of Famer just off his resume already, versus Andre Muniz, number 13 in the division. And this fight, I think, honestly, would be higher ranked on the card. But Dana White has beef for Uriah Hall. He calls him like the most boring fight. Like he talks shit on him. So like that's probably why we're seeing this fight in the early prelims.
Why does he be booking him
then?
Yeah, if I say like he's still ranked 9th in the division, so you can't just like completely shut the boy out.
That's interesting. I was doing a little research on bro. I like Uriah Hall. I think he's cool. And like maybe it's because I'm a fan of wrestling and I understand his technique and the slow. It's all about the little movements and stuff. I never had a problem with anybody in those situations. Nah, I'm lying because that Rose Estrada fight was disgusting.
See, but it's not even with like the wrestling. He just like he's a great stand-up fighter, but his biggest drawback is he doesn't throw a lot. Even when he's losing, he stays conservative, and that's why Dana White doesn't like watching him fight.
Hey man, where's he from though? Isn't he Jamaican?
Jamaica.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I'm liking these Jamaican dudes because who's the other dude? Spider Monkey has, bro.
I don't know his name, but I know there's
another
Jamaican fighter. Yeah.
I always get him confused with Kevin Holland.
Spider Monkey is a funny name.
See, I think Uriah Hall's similar to because like Kevin Holland was when Uriah Hall came into fighting, like he was fucking like 2012 or something. It was a long time ago. So like there wasn't many of these 6'4", 6'3" fighters in this division. So like he was one of them first that was just like, oh, he can match up well with Anderson Silva. Oh, he actually has the reach and he has the like stand-up game as other fighters. But now he's a little older.
He's an old man.
And then what's up? Oh, I was gonna say, but Muniz on the other hand, he's probably the best grappler at 185. So he has 15 submissions out of his 22 wins. He's 6-0 in the UFC if you count the Contender series. And out of the 6 wins, 4 of them came by submission. He had a 2021 submission of the year over Jackie Souza, where he was literally like, he got his back, put him in a rear naked choke. And the commentators are saying like, oh, he's too high up for the choke too. And then all of a sudden he does some spider monkey shit, spins around, gets the guy into armbar. And it was like his ground game is just that fluid. So like his grappling really, Andre Muniz has a great ground game, 3rd degree black belt BJJ. So yeah, like, but Uriah Hall, like the legendary Ultimate Fighter run when the Ultimate Fighter actually meant something, where he murdered everybody in like the first round, but then he lost a split decision to Kevin Gastelum in like the final. And then like he beat Anderson Silva, he beat Chris Weidman, he beat Thiago Santos. Like those are names that send you to the Hall of Fame. So it's kind of like the stand-up legendary fighter versus this ground grappler.
You think he's gonna be able to take him to the ground?
You got to.
I think so. I think he can mix. Like Uriah Hall's kind of slower now. He's not the same fighter. I think he's like 35 or 36. And I think Muniz is that young, more explosive guy right now.
All right.
Hey, bro. I don't see him. How old is bro?
Muniz?
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. He is I can tell you the little intangibles. He does have like Uriah Hall does have an 1.5 inch reach on him. Muniz is 32, so he's not the youngest fighter.
I'm taking Muniz. I'm sorry, man. I like Uriah Hall though. I like bro. I got to see what season he did the Ultimate Fight, but I got to take Muniz. Come on now.
Great season, Ultimate Fighter, I will say, because like I think he was the last pick on the team, and then he got like first round finishes on everybody.
And I took that personal. I like that shit.
Does the Ultimate Fighter count on your record?
No, it's considered amateur still, so they don't put it on your record. But for some reason, Bryce Mitchell has one loss in the UFC, and it's on the Ultimate Fighter or something, and no one knows why he's the only fighter to ever have an Ultimate Fighter.
They gotta go fade. And
did he lose in the
It wasn't the finale. It was like semifinals or something. But it was just a weird, because no one else win or lost. It doesn't pop up on your record. Like it'll show as like previous fights, but it's not a professional win or loss.
That's funny. I thought Bryce Mitchell was undefeated, low key.
Yeah, that's why if you go to ESPN, he has one loss. It's because of saying like UFC Ultimate Fighter, and people are like, why is he the only one? But yeah, you got right. It's like, Mark, who you got here? You got Jamaica's best Uriah Hall, Brazil's wrestler, grappler, Andre Muniz. It's the battle of the 185ers, a middleweight.
Let me go with, man. I'm going with the big man, Jamaican man. Come on.
Stop big underdog, bro. Plus 300.
Hell yeah, man. Give me the dog and the big dog. Stop playing with him, man. You say he's a fucking Hall of Famer? Come on.
All right. Well, we got Muniz on this side. Honestly, Muniz and Barber, these first two fights we talked were some of the biggest odds for favorites.
Right.
These next fights are all gonna, what we're talking from here on out are gonna be some fucking wars. On to the prelims. We got that boy Brad Tavares. I believe he's ranked 14th in the division versus Dricus Du Plessis, a rising prospect with a kickboxing background, and he wrestles pretty damn good. He averages like 3 takedowns a fight. Tavares has been in the UFC since 2010. He's tied for the most UFC decision wins, which is kind of odd because at middleweight you don't see a lot of decisions. So like a lot of people call him a boring fighter because of that. But I will say in his defense, Brad Tavares, his losses are to people who are like legitimate fighters. Like when he fights people, like he fought Israel Adesanya, people knew he wasn't going to win that one. He fought Robert Whittaker, people knew he wasn't going to win that one. He fought Yoel Romero, people knew he wasn't going to win that one. But then he fights anybody else that's not ranked or something, and he, like, if you're not a rising star or anything like that, he usually beats you.
Oh, he's one of those dudes. I can relate to him. I was
a good gatekeeper. He's a good gatekeeper.
Yeah, I can relate to that. In high school, I used to always I would always beat the people I was supposed to be. It was the motherfuckers that niggas was like, "Damn, Kevin, it's gonna be a close one." I was just like, "Oh, for real? All right, let's go tank." But motherfucking, so yeah, I'd be like that sometimes. It's just like I think that's a mental thing, really.
Yeah, but the odds do show you this is a close fight. Du Plessis is the favorite, minus 150. Yeah. Tavares is plus 130. But honestly, those odds are so close, it's almost like a pick 'em.
I'm taking Du Plessis, but I'm mad because I was hoping that he'd be an underdog. Tell me more about Du Plessis.
Du Plessis opened. He opened as an underdog, and then all of a sudden the bettors came in and they were backing Du Plessis. And Du Plessis, he's a kickboxer. I'm trying to think of like someone I can compare him to because he's not like a Gamrot or anybody like that. He doesn't wrestle first. He does lean on his kickboxing abilities.
I like kickboxing.
And like he throws a lot. He has power. He does overwhelm a lot of people. He mixes into takedowns nice. And what I like about him is on his 16 wins, is 16 finishes. And like we talked about that with Rachmanov. Like you don't see a lot of fighters, all their wins come from them finishing people. And I want to say he had like 8 submissions and like 7 knockouts. So he's mixing it in real well on both sides of the
intimidating.
Yeah, so that's Du Plessis. He kind of has like I think he has a good future ahead of him. I don't think he's ever going to be a world beater, but he is going to be a solid fighter in this division for a while. Whereas Tavares, he's more of he's like a Swiss Army knife. He's not bad at anything, but if you're really good at something, you're going to overwhelm him in that.
Hey man, Duplessis all the way, man.
Yeah, man. After I heard that kickboxing shit finishes, come on, Duplessis.
Yeah, I'm gonna rock with the boy from South Africa. I think we're all riding Duplessis.
Oh, he's from
here.
South Africa?
Yeah, but he's one of the white South Africa. Like he's South Africa.
He's from the other side of South Africa. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, my dog. You know how I mess with them Africans. Cambo. Hey, all my Nigerians stand up. This is y'all day today.
I know a white South Africa.
I know a couple too. Actually, I know like 2 or 3.
My church has a sister church in South Africa. No, I'm lying. Yeah, in Burkina Faso, which might be in South Africa, which is close to South Africa.
Let's see. Then we got this is another prelim fight. I think this is the one that like you have to watch. You got Ian Gary versus Gabe Green. Ian Gary, a lot of people consider him Conor McGregor 2.0 because he models his
shoes, man.
He models his game after Conor McGregor. He won Cage Warriors welterweight belt before coming to the UFC, just like Conor McGregor won the featherweight belt in Cage Warriors. He had over 300 boxing fights. He's been boxing since the age of 10. He saw Conor McGregor was champion, and he started working on his ground game. So then he went out and got a black belt in judo, so he can be just like Conor. And that boy really has like he's Irish. He literally is like that's his idol. He's not as good on the mic as him. He does have his own personality. He's very like good on the mic in his own right. But Ian Gary his nickname is the future for the reason for a good reason. And Gabe Green, can't say this enough. This is Gabe Green is another solid prospect. He came in short-term notice, got a fucking KO. Then he fights Lionessy on the last fight. He gets sent to Lionessy, hits him with a right hand down the middle that sends him to the shadow round. And people think he's out. He fucking somehow survives, gets off the ground, gets back to his feet, fights through it, and then knocks the boy out in the second round. And like people he shows that he has the will, he has a chin, he has heavy ass hands, and he throws a lot of volume. So this is gonna be a great fight between if Ian Gary is this legitimate top 10 prospect that people comparing him to Rock. This is the same division, Rachmanov and Chimaev. So those are the other 2 super prospects in this division that just came out this past year, put on a show. Is Ian Gary going to do the same? Because he has that same hype on his name.
Bro, that division is so fucking deep. God damn.
Man, that shit sounds deep as hell. What the
weight just gets every time we bring up the welterweight division, it just sounds like it got deeper. Like, I don't know how, but it just be getting deeper. I'd be like, damn, am I sure I want to stay in my more lightweight? My light what's 135?
Bantam.
Am I light in bantamweight, or do I just want to admit that like the best fighters in the world that low key might all weigh 170? Maybe I should go up to 170 myself.
Challenge them.
But nah, man, I'm not gonna lie. We covered Ian Gary before, and I got some no regulars, no need for it, no pause. But I got that Ian Gary fever. I don't think he's like a Conor McGregor type. I hope he doesn't like feel like you gotta match Conor or whatever. Cause like I feel like Conor was just one of a kind. Like every time you compare Conor to everybody else in the world, motherfucking these boys is dangerous. So like I fuck with Ian Gary, and I think
damn.
I got the press conference going in my ear, and like Shawn Strickland and Izzy are snapping right now. I had to take them out my ear. I was like, God damn, bro, you really finna slap the shit out of the nigga? Like, that's the next fight. But back to Ian Gary though. I just like how he can brawl. I think he's dangerous. And like, bro, it's cold. I want to see him continue to grow, but I just think that division is probably not the best to go to, because like it sounds like they got some kings and warriors just keep coming through there that you're just not gonna be able to do nothing with. But he's cold, man.
Yeah, and to put the perspective, his last 2 fights, he was like -400 favorite. Against Gabe Green, he is minus 175, and Gabe Green's plus 150. So the odds are very close to like show that this is going to be a real test. This isn't just like another fill-in fight to get the brand.
Bro.
Gary all day. Fuck that. After you just gassed him up, said he's been boxing since he was a kid. Seeing McGregor fight, that's crazy. But I hope he puts on. Does McGregor co-sign for him?
I think McGregor because he comes from Ireland. So, and there's not many fighters from Ireland. Like they're comparing Paddy to McGregor, and Paddy's from Liverpool, and that's not even the same country. It's just in the same general vicinity. So it's just like there's not many fighters from that area. So I think Conor supports him because Conor was always big on his boy Artem Lobov, who was like another like European fighter. Like Conor supports his Euros.
Right, his Euros.
I respect it.
Unless he's fighting them.
I hope put on a little show, man. That's crazy. The two prospects, though.
I like how we refer to Conor by his first name. Like, there's just certain people that you just call their first name.
Oh, especially on an MMA boxing podcast. If you don't know the name Conor by itself, that's on you because there hasn't been many great Conors.
And
but can we take a second though? Paul, did you watch this press conference?
I have not. I know that they got a little heated. I know that there's been some moments.
Bro, I'm 23 minutes in. I was playing it in my ear the entire time. And if you've noticed, there's points in times where I just get really quiet and I keep looking this way. Because Max Holloway came in with all the smoke. Immediately, he said, niggas is talking 3-0. Bro, you don't even got 3 highlights. And Volky's the coolest person ever. Nicest guy in the UFC. Maybe in the whole Oceania region. I'll find out myself. But motherfucking, he's just in there like, whoa, Max came to play today. Okay. And then next thing you know, I see motherfucking, and this nigga Max later talking about some, man, he's just talking that shit. And then Volky's like, okay, man, don't worry about it. That's the bit of Saturday night. We're going to see Saturday. Max is just coming at him just hot. You just, don't worry, going 2-0. I'll turn you to 3-0. Man, fuck. Like, these motherfuckers is beefing. Motherfucking Shawn Strickland just tried the whole crowd. He's literally pointing motherfuckers out. He's like, bro, I live a simple life. I can't go outside because look at that fat motherfucker in the hat. I'd catch a murder charge if I seen bro. I'm like,
telling you, Shawn Strickland is a fucking dog.
Bro, motherfucking Jared Cannonier came in a fucking do-rag. Motherfucking
definitely gonna have to peep this press conference now.
This shit is, I'm 23 minutes in and Izzy and Shawn Strickland are beefing right now.
I tell you, Shawn Strickland didn't want to be there. He was talking about Disney and the higher entities are forcing me to go so I can cancel myself or what I say.
That boy bringing smoke. That's why. Like, that boy went crazy, pointing out fat people in the crowd.
I mean, I think I know why. Max Holloway brought that energy because literally like 2 days ago, Bulkanovsky said in an not interview, but like a little question at the UFC pre things and like shit like that. And he said, because they're talking about, oh, Max Holloway has a striking records. He has the most landed significant strikes and most landed strikes of all time. How's it feel to be going up against such a great striker? And then he was like, when they talk, and Volkanovski said it, I quote, when they talk about him having the most significant strikes thrown, I think he has broken the record for the most absorbed. People got to remember that shit. That's like the worst. That's not a record you want.
That's what he said. He says, motherfucking, Max was like, I fucking hand out damage. I'm the person that absorbs damage and hands out damage. I'm the person that absorbs damage. He doesn't give damage. What do you think's gonna fucking happen? That's what he said.
So yeah, like I can see why Holloway, because Holloway hasn't said much coming into it and like at all about Volkanovski. So then I was shocked because they always give each other class and respect. So when Volkanovski said that little snippet, I was like, that's a little different Volkanovski than what I'm used to seeing. He wouldn't even take this 10-second time to even like take a little shot like that.
Nah, and look, Izzy caught the fucking vibe, bro. Jared Kennedy was talking. You know Jared Kennedy. He's I think it's gonna be what makes you think you can beat Izzy? Well, first off, he goes, what was the first part of your question? What makes you think you can beat Izzy? Self-belief. I just think that it's dumb, retarded, stupid. I'm only expecting to excel, blah blah blah. And then Izzy goes, bro, next time just keep it short. And then Jared Kennedy is trying to keep it. Jared Kennedy is trying to pretend like he doesn't. And I'm done. And I don't listen to the bullshit. I just continue to fight. I continue to train. He goes, All right, like, bro, I'm like, God, yeah, Izzy came with the smoke too. Him and Shawn Strickland are going back and forth right now. Nick Shawn Strickland talking about who the fuck would want him as a champion? Izzy, do something about it. And I haven't heard nobody get called a bitch yet, but it's coming. It's coming.
No, that's a good. I haven't seen an actual personal press conference in a minute. There's been
It's deep.
since Jorge Masvidal and Kobe Covington. That was the last personal press conference.
And everybody's out here. It's like just like the old ones, but everybody. This shit is lit. I had to pause it because I wouldn't be able to pay attention.
Shit. Well, we kind of just hit on a little bit. Stay tuned because the Shawn Strickland fight and the Izzy fight's coming out real soon, and the Volkanovsky Holloway. So let's breeze through these last couple prelim fights, make this actually like kind of, the blowout block of the UFC. We got Donald Cowboy Cerrone, fill-in fighter, versus Jim Miller at 155. This might be Cowboy's retirement fight. So
it should be. It should be.
It should be. And let's see. If you don't know Cowboys' resume, let me tell you real quick. I broke it down a couple times.
I was gonna say it's like a third time, maybe fourth. God damn.
He has, and I think this is actually the first time Marcus is here for a Cowboy fight. So Cerrone, most post-fight bonuses in UFC history with 18, tied most wins in UFC with 23. And the funny thing is, he's tied with the person he's fighting with 23 wins. So whoever wins here will have the most wins in UFC history with 24. Second most finishes in UFC history with 16. Third most fights in UFC history with 37. And most knockdowns in UFC. He is also 0-5 in his last 5.
My dog.
Connor was on the way of that. But I will say Jim Miller is on a 3-fight win streak. This will be his 40th fight in UFC. I think he has the most fights in UFC. He started back in 2008.
God.
Damn.
So, yeah, Cowboy is like the OG, and then Jim Miller is the OG's OG.
The OG's OG. That's crazy. What the fuck?
And they fought one time before in 2014, and Cowboy got the TKO second round victory, and it was the headline fight. These boys have seen multiple headline fights in their career.
UFC pay-per-views did they have in 2008?
Okay.
How y'all feeling about this fight? Is anyone going? Is that 155? Cowboy has fought at 170 and 155 in his career. Jim Miller has fought at 155 his whole career.
I'm going Cowboy.
You're riding the Cowboy. Is it just because that's your boy, or?
Nah, I think he's serious this time, man. Boy, been trying to fight for a minute now.
That's true. This is his third attempt in like 5 months.
Yeah, so maybe he's been training hard. I think he's gonna come out with a good performance, and maybe who knows, might be his last dub, especially if he gets the win. Come out, get the record 2-24. You beat the guy with the other, you tied with. That'd be a pretty cool way to end it.
I would. But too bad I think Jim Miller's going to get this dub. And it's for the same exact reason why I picked Joe Lozon against Cowboy. When Cowboy fought in his prime at 155, he had a hard time to make the weight.
Damn.
So now that he's older, trying to make 155, that don't get any easier. He made 155 2 weeks ago. And now he has to cut weight again to get back to one. That's not going to be good on his body at 40 years old. Even Jim Miller has won the last 2 fights that he's had. Cowboy Cerrone hasn't fought since like 2019. I think that's all the stars are lining up. Like, this is Jim Miller's weight class. He actually looked decent. Hasn't looked good. He looked decent in his last 2 fights to get wins. Whereas Cowboy, I haven't seen him in 2 years, and this isn't his weight. Like, he's 40 years old having to cut weight within 2 weeks of each other. That don't sound good to me.
Jim Miller started the UFC in 2008. Paul, we have a Friday night fight. Paul and Marcus, we have a Friday night fight club show because every week they have a fucking event. In 2008, they only had 13 pay-per-views.
Oh, I believe it, bro. I think Brock Lesnar was on the cards back then, too.
That's fucking insane to imagine just being there for the entire. This is the 16th year of the UFC's history back in 2008. But to be there to watch it grow into what it's done and just be a part of it and just continue to like. That's like he's like Vince Carter to me, bro. You done pretty much like fought in 4 different generations, kid. Like
Dana White had hair when he started.
That's crazy. Like I'm rooting for Jim Miller. I want to see him make history right now. Is he a surefire Hall of Famer? Let me know.
I think he's just because when you have those accolades, he's kind of like those. I think Vince Carter's a good representation because like in his prime, he was probably a top 10 fighter, top 8 fighter in that division. Never a championship contender, but he has so many accolades where he might only have like 4 or 5 all-star appearances out of a 25-year career. But just since you have all those records, you're gonna go.
I got a question. All right, so you're saying with all the records, can they make it to the UFC Hall of Fame with no belt?
I think so. Also, you also got to think
Tony Ferguson.
The UFC, yeah, Tony Ferguson. But the UFC has also only really been around since 2000. It doesn't have the rich history of like 80-year Hall of Fame where you have people decades in the 70s and stuff. It's like if you did something in 2005, like look at like Tito Ortiz. If you really look back at his record, he doesn't have this. Like he has great wins in his prime, but he had a lot of losses after his prime. But no one holds that against him. No, it's just like. We haven't been around for long. Like we can't really compare resumes like we do. Like literally, we think Khabib's the GOAT. We think GSP's the GOAT. We think these people are the GOAT, and they literally retired like less than 5 years ago.
GSP, bro. I watched one of those documentaries.
Anderson Silva, like these people all retired in the last like 7 years. So it's like McGregor, it's such a new Hall of Fame. Whereas like as long as you did something to move the sport, as long as you was a big name during the sport, I think Jim Miller has like 8 to 9 pay-per-views on his name alone. So like, yeah, he's going Hall of Fame.
I like it. I'm rocking with Jimmy, man.
Jimmy.
Fuck Jimmy.
Our last fight of the prelims, I hit on this fight a little earlier. I said this might be a low-key fight of the night. Brad Rodell versus Jalen Turner. And this is Jalen Turner's first ranked opponent in lightweight. Brad Rodell's ranked 14th. And Jalen Turner has been destroying all the competition up to this point. So it's like finally we get to see him against somebody who's actually somebody. Brad Rodell, great striker, especially on the inside. Former Muay Thai coach. He's 4-1 in the UFC. His one loss is to Rafael Fasiv, and who's fucking a dog. He's like people think. Yeah, a lot of people think he might be a future champion. Like he is a fucking dog. And so that's his one loss. So I'm okay with that one loss. And then Jalen Turner on the other side, like I said, we haven't seen him fight anybody for real, but he's like 6'3" or 6'4" in the lightweight division, where everyone else is like Brad Rodell's 5'7", to put into perspective. And this guy's 6'3", like he is so long for this division, so big and tall. Like he's almost, I would compare him to like a Fundora of boxing. Like he's just
what is
that? Lightweight.
Yeah, what's lightweight? Because I
like
get
Dustin Poirier.
I get confused because UFC they call it different names than like what
lightweight is 155, and he's
so they're the dudes that just main evented the last one. Weren't they lightweights?
Yes. And they were like 5'11", 5'10", and they were both considered pretty big size for the division. He's 6'3". He's 6'3" at 155. Brad Rodell's 5'7" to show the difference in height. So we got Jayla Turner, who I think he's kind of like Izzy, kind of similar, where he likes to fight from the outside because he has this crazy reach advantage on people, and he has he's so tall. Whereas Jalen Turner, if you know anything about Muay Thai and you're good at Muay Thai, and you're good, you can get inside. You know the angles. You know how to fucking take a punch to get inside and give your own punch. So this stylistically, I think, makes a great fight. Like Jalen Turner gets his first real test in this lightweight division, and I think it's gonna be a lot of stand up because they're both decent wrestlers, but they both only use wrestling when they have to. And I think it's gonna be like a pride type fight, like a who's the better striker standing type shit.
That's crazy.
It's gonna be a sleeper. Now that you put it like that, they got like similar styles. That shit gonna be lit.
Yeah, and like I said, Brad Rodell's 4-1 in the UFC. So like, and that one loss is to Fasiv, and he's a dog. So like Jalen Turner's another prospect who's basically walked through the competition. So we now get to see him against a real, and like you said, Kev, lightweight is so deep. Jalen Turner, the fucking his nickname is the Tarantula, the 8-armed, because he's so fast and so long. It feels like you find somebody with 8 arms. So like that boy's like that.
That might have just sold me right there because I was kind of torn on this one. I was like, dang, I wish I watched some film on these boys. But yeah, I think I might have to take because I like the outside fight. You know, it's long reach motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? We like the outside. You feel me? So like, I'm gonna rock with Turner on this one.
I'm gonna give my pick. I think I'm gonna go with Rodell just because I think Turner, he's only fought people he knows he could beat, and maybe he's looking at Rodell like, oh, you're 5'7", you're just another small fighter that I've seen. I'm just gonna beat you from the outside. And then Rodell's Muay Thai, especially like he wasn't just a fighter, like he was a trainer. He was somebody you hired as a UFC fighter to teach you Muay Thai. So like that's how good of a Muay Thai fighter he is. And like I think he's gonna be able to get on the inside, make this fight dirty and a lot closer. Like maybe he loses, but I think this fight's gonna be really close, and like the decision is gonna go to Rodell off of just like the cleaner shots and stuff.
Nah, I'm looking forward to it, man. This is gonna be a good one.
What about you, got, Mark?
Marcus, who you got?
Hey,
last prelim fight.
Yeah, don't miss it, man.
Rodell, man, because
yeah,
man, that
you play football. You play Rodell.
Nah, man, that Muay Thai shit, bro. I fucking love that shit. And he's a fucking coach. I love I used to be asleep on Muay Thai back in the day, but ever since we started this, man, I've been watching more of that shit, bro. That is a deadly, and
they're real warriors. Like I don't think I've ever seen someone quit in Muay Thai. I don't think that's an actual option to quit.
So skillful in Muay Thai, bro. To do Muay Thai, you got to be really skilled, man. Like that shit is different, and the way their stances and like
the fucking knee up with the like your knee and elbow touching.
Like, I don't know, man. They be on some shit, bro. I fucking love watching that shit. No cap, bro. But I think it's gonna be a war, and I feel like it's gonna be a tough test, like you said, and maybe he is sleeping on him a little bit. So I'm gonna rock with the coach.
And look at like Jay Turner, American, that boy, all-American bloodline. Rodell, that boy from New Zealand, just like our main eventer.
Woo!
That boy, the New Zealand flag is roaming high with Bulkanovsky and Izzy. So I think Rodell is gonna show out just because his countrymen are on the same card.
Hey, how do you spell Muay Thai?
How do you spell what?
Muay Thai.
MUAYTHAI. Similar. If that's wrong, autocorrect will correct you.
I'm not even mad that I couldn't spell that because that's not even English.
But that finished the early end of prelims. This is we've never gone that hard in this, so that should let you know how deep of a card this is. So let's talk this main card. Let's talk this. I literally finished my last beer. This is my next one. And this ain't just some beer. This shit is a gin and juice, 8.5%. So I'm smacked right now.
This ain't water.
This ain't water, Playboy?
Nah, it's water.
Let's talk Marcus's favorite fighter on the card, Sugar Shawn O'Malley versus Pedro Muniz. This is Sugar Shawn, 13th in the division. Pedro Muniz, number 9 in the division. Woo! I think this is Sugar Shawn's first ranked opponent, his first real test. I don't want to break it down too much. I feel like y'all got a lot to talk yourself, so I'll let y'all take the board right now.
Hey, I'll look at it like this, right? These two were the most civil people at the press conference from what I've seen so far. I was not ready for that.
That's surprising.
They're homies, not homies, but like...
the first thing, they were just both one sentences. Sugar Shane said, hey, man, Pedro, he's a great fighter. He's fought a lot of great. He has a lot of great fights on his resume. Nobody's ever put his lights out. I'm going to change that July 2nd. Hang up the phone. Yeah. Pedro.
Nice and simple.
Pedro. All right, he can bet. He can try. Hang up the phone. Now, everybody else is going crazy. These motherfuckers, the motherfucker with rainbow hair is the one that's just chilling.
I would say last time Sugar Sean's press conference, he talked more to a different opponent than his own. Like he literally was like, "I'm gonna knock my guy out in the fucking first round, done with him." And then he started beefing with Cody Garbrandt. Like, bro, you haven't beat anybody since like 2018. Like, shut the fuck up. Like he was like, he started beefing with other people instead of his own opponent because he was so sure of his win.
He's on a 3-fight win streak. Mark, how you feel about your cousin, man?
Hey man, I'm hyped for him, man. I think he's gonna come out here and put on a performance, man. And I might come out. Are we throwing picks out yet? Because I'm like ready to drop my.
Just wait. Because before you throw your picks, I do have like a like my nerdy breakdown of the fight.
I want to hear a little drop on other dude, bro. I want to hear. I got to hear a little more on him. I'm confident in my Sugar Shane though, for real. I think he'll be a star. You know, career defining little moment. Get a nice little.
And before we drop any picks, how do you guys feel about Sugar Sean's like the way I'm not fighting no crazy big dudes. I'm trying to get the bag right. I'm figuring everything out. Like I want to make $1 million a fight. How do you guys feel about how he does that in the UFC, where it's kind of like you can get fast fact and you can get warriors and you can take an L and still win a championship? How do you guys feel about that?
I'm happy that's the question, because I think I have finally found the perfect answer for Sugar Sean O'Malley. Sugar Sean O'Malley is the Gervonta Tank of the UFC. His skill set is top 10, 100%.
I love his
but he hasn't beat anybody to even act or talk the way he does, but he does have the skill for it. And it is because he wants the $1 million fight before he fights anybody. And I understand, get your bag, my boy. But there are the Umar Nurmagomedovs, the Shakhmov Rakhmovs. There are people who literally come from the dirt and they don't care about social media. And they're just gonna fight. And they're just gonna get better at fighting. And they're just gonna take over and shit like that. And I just hope Sugar Sean ain't no Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank who cares more about building the brand and everything instead of actually going out and getting those big fights. That's the most. If anyone don't know about Sugar Sean, I think that's the best way to, because he does have the skill. Like he has this, his lightning fast speed. I haven't seen someone like since Conor McGregor when it comes to this fast twitch. You can't train it.
And the way he mixed it up, I really like
how he switches his stances. He likes to go from inside and outside the range. His speed is one of a kind. He has the skill set. But when you're beating fucking Pedro Muniz and fucking Bruno Silva, like we're beating people like that, and we have other young stars who are going out and beating the Neil Magny's and fucking there's these people who are actually out here right now going to take those fights and winning those fights. He's not doing it. He doesn't seem like he wants to do it right now. He wants the money to mean something first. And I just want to see how far that'll take you. Because that's why I think Conor fell off, was because the money mattered more than the thrive in the game.
Man, I'm actually glad that you guys chose that. Marcus, did you agree with Paul?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like the way you put it like that, I can see it. I'm going to still gas him. How old is he?
He's like 20 something. He is young. Like he has the fucking future ahead of him. Is all on him.
It's just more like you gotta start stepping up the competition. I get that he's probably trying to build the fan base to maybe get the draw in and shit and keep building his brand so then he gets a bigger paycheck. But might be time to start stepping up that comp. And hopefully this is first step.
I'm so glad that you guys chose that way. That's why I asked the question that way. Because I personally like it. But here's my reasoning for it. I don't just like it. I love it. But here's my reasoning for it. Because I do agree with you that you got the Chimayos, you got the Shark Scotts, you got some real bosses coming. And like all they got to do is learn English. And after that, there is no gap. So I think she's playing a dangerous game, and that's why I love it. Because what he's doing is he understands that he came into the UFC at 22. I'm 23, and I just got my own apartment. Like This shit is interesting. Like, it's a very young age to understand that there are people still fighting. There are Cowboys and Jim Millers who've been fighting since 2008. Like, there's a way to do it where you can look for longevity. And like, I don't think he came in with the when he started training MMA 8 years ago. I don't think he came in with the intent to be like, yo, I'm going to be in the UFC at 2022. I think he got an opportunity. I believe he was on the Contender series, and that's how he got the bag. I'm not sure exactly, but. And now he's just thinking, he's just trying to figure out how to make his brand. He understands his fight style is very entertaining, very sellable. And he's doing two things at the same time. He's getting used to the UFC. So I feel like he's gonna be somebody that ends up with 30 fights, maybe 30 fights. But the thing about it is he's playing a dangerous game because if he takes one loss and because he has a roadmap and he understands that he's looking for longevity as a plan, but if that there's going to be bumps on that map, so it might not go perfect. So, like, maybe missing out these opportunities while you're the hot commodity, the biggest dude, like, maybe that could slip away and then your momentum might go down. So you have to really, the only way to get back up is if you go, like, on an Oliveira type run. So it's a dangerous game, but I like it because it's longevity and you understanding that you're here for a long time, not just a good time. So, like, he's...
I like that for real, low-key.
Mm-hmm. So like, and the science is only getting better. The rest of relaxation is getting better. It's up to him to continue to get better and to figure out how to evolve his style because he needs to get to these 5-round fights. And Pedro Muniz, and I think is a great test for that because I don't think he's no slouch even slightly.
No, not at all. But I will say, like, because he's in the same division as Umar Nurmagomedov. And that's like literally like if someone's gonna get the title fight first, it probably will be Sugar Sean O'Malley. And I think this is lining up to be Conor versus Khabib 2.0. Because if he gets the belt in this division or whatever, like if he's the star, like because I think just like Khabib, he wasn't a star when he was fighting Conor. Even when as champion, no one really knew who he was. Like I remember whenever they fought the first time, and like everyone thought Conor was gonna win. And I was just sitting there like, you don't understand. Like Khabib is a fucking different breed of fighter. He's gonna destroy him. So like, I think that's where this is signing up to because Sugar is gonna be great in his own right, especially in the stand up. I think he's one of a kind in stand up. But when it comes to people, when you have a Nurmagomedov in your division, you cannot be like taking it easy.
I feel.
And then he has Jack Shore, Sterling, Peter Yan, like Corey Sandhagen.
Like, and I think, and it might be smart because give them boys some time to beat up on each other so that way you can come in and just play cleanup.
What is that? 5?
Ban him. 35.
135, yeah. So everyone knows Sugar Sean. We hyped him up. He has the most strikes landed per minute with 8.26. He has the most differential in strikes per minute where he outstrikes his opponent by 5.0 something per minute. Pedro Muniz, though, he's only lost to literally the top guys in the division. He lost to like Sterling. He lost to Jose Aldo. He lost to Frankie Edgar, Dominic Cruz. Like those are his losses. He beat Cody Garbrandt, former champion. He beat Rob Font, who's sitting at right now, I think, top 7 in the division. He loves to throw leg kicks, which is something we've seen Sugar Sean lose to. He broke his leg, not because he doesn't check leg kicks. So that's something that you have to worry about on that side. Because I'm not saying he likes to throw leg kicks. I'm saying he throws like 40 leg kicks a fight. Like he makes it a priority to throw leg kicks. He's seen 5 rounds. I
like the leg kicks.
One thing that does scare me though, slow hands, and he's slow altogether. He's a little older, also 35, 36. And when we talk about Sugar Sean, we talk about his speed, his twitch, his fucking getting from the inside to outside. He's switching stances 24/7, hopping around. Like Pedro Muniz could make it into a wrestling fight. He could make it into like a dirty clinch fight, but I just think he also might be a little too slow. And I agree with y'all. I think Sugar Sean wins this. He also puts the rest of the people talking about, well, if they throw leg kicks, they're going to beat Sugar Sean. He's going to see somebody throw leg kicks, and I think he's going to beat him pretty easily. I don't think he's going to knock him out like he called. Pedro Muniz has never been knocked out, and I don't think he will be. Because he's seen Jose Aldo. He's seen Sterling. He's seen Dominic. He's seen the top of this division, and he hasn't been knocked out.
Somebody got to do it, man. And I think this is such a great test for him because he has to prove that he can do that to real talent. And, like, he has to make it look easy.
To knock someone out that hasn't been knocked out, that'd be some shit, man.
I will say, though, it's a perfect matchup for him personally. I think the UFC knows what they're doing. I want to say they're protecting Sugar Sean because Pedro Muniz ain't no pushover, but they know what they're doing with this matchup because Pedro Muniz is slower. He's a more, like, he likes to get on the inside, but he likes to get hit as he gets on the inside. And Sugar Sean is perfect to hit you and then get on the outside and not let you get where you want to be. So I think this is a perfect matchup for Sugar Sean to show his striking showcase.
Yeah, it's such a good time to be doing a podcast. But this is gonna be a great fight, a great test. Mark, man, let me know how you feeling, man. This is your man. I'm pretty sure I go to the same bar.
You talking KOs? You talking decisions? You talking upset losses? To the same
barber. Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk about this next Saturday.
Hey, it's gonna be a spinning back kick knockout, man.
God damn.
Hey, I think
now.
going off
first fight, I think he killed bro with a spinning back flip, and that shit went viral.
He's done it before, man. And all right, if anything, if it's not a spinning back, that might be a little too.
Nah, stand on your.
Nah, you stand on it, bro.
Stand on it.
All right, man. I feel like he's gonna come out here and do some shit, man, and show that if no one could do it, let me do it. And it's gonna start off the main card. What is the first fight on the main card, right?
Yes, sir. This is second first fight on the main card, back to back.
Damn, fuck, man.
He starts it off with a bang.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good fight, and somebody's going down in the third round, and it's up to it's either gonna be because they're on the ground, and because Shawn got Sugar Sean got his fucking legs killed, or motherfucking Shawn, like Marcus spinning back kick, man.
Sugar Sean by decision, and that's the way it's going. That boy Pedro Muniz ain't getting knocked out by this curly-haired 6'9" motherfucker.
He gotta make it look like easy work.
He's gonna make it look easy, man. He's gonna be like, man, fuck all the bullshit, fuck all the haters. I'm coming out here and kicking this fool.
All right. Well, we got 4 more fights. We got Robbie Lawler versus Brian Barbarana, nicknamed Bam Bam. This might be fight of the night. I already called that earlier. These are 2 warriors who have that Muay Thai mentality of not quitting. They like to both box dirty. They like to throw elbows. They like to get on the inside and do work in the clinch. They just like to fucking stand and bang. Bro, this is a fucking fight.
This is one of my type of fights. I like to hear that.
And Robbie Lawler, like, fucking, he's 40 years old, but he was the champion from 2014 to 2016. He lost to Tyron Woodley. That's when Woodley won the belt. He beat Cowboy the very next year in his next fight. Then he lost the 4 next over 3 years. So it was a rough up to 2021. And then he fights Nick Diaz, who came out of retirement after like 10 years and beats him. And that's the older brother to Nate Diaz. And Barbarana on the other side, he's 8-6 in the UFC. His losses are the Colby Covington, Leon Edwards, Vince Luque. So, like, those are solid top tier guys in the division. And he's just another fucking brawler. We covered him when he fought Matt Brown before, and it was they won fight of the night, like I said they would, because it was just 2 fucking brawlers. And I think this is another similar fight. We're just gonna watch 2 people, and both of them multiple times. We're gonna be sitting there like, oh, he's knocked out. Oh, he's done. And then all of a sudden that person gets right back up, and then he knocks out the other. Like, there's gonna be multiple back and forth times where I think somebody's gonna be fucking wobbled, dropped, stunned, and it's gonna fucking just be a war.
I look at this fight as, damn, why couldn't Robbie Lawler be the over? Is because
let me see. I can tell you right now the favorite. So it's a pick 'em. Robbie Lawler is -110, Barbarina's +100. Literally, it's the same odds, basically.
Damn.
That's scary. I want to pick Barbarina, but like I just feel like Robbie Lawler comes to every fight ready to bang. There's no such thing as a boring Robbie Lawler fight from what I've been told.
Never.
But I remember Barbarina versus Matt Brown thinking like, damn, them bumped it. But I also thought Matt Brown won that fight.
It was a split decision win, but that was a fight where even Matt Brown, because that was Matt Brown's hometown of Columbus, Ohio. But they both lifted their hand. Like, you know, when a fight's good when both of them are holding hands lifted together, like just fucking basking in it.
So I'm torn, Paul. Give me some reasonings. Give me Mark. Let me know what you feel about this fight, and Paul. Give me something else. I don't know. I'm torn.
I'll let Mark. You want to go picks first, Mark, or you want me to lead? I got one more drop of knowledge before.
All right, go ahead. Tell me.
I think they're the same fighter, but I also think Barbarina's 10 years younger. I don't think Lawler can handle that damage at 40. Like, yes, he beat Nick Diaz in his last fight. Nick Diaz coming out of 10 years of retirement, hasn't fought, and he beats him. And he's 40-something years old. All right, cool. Prior to that, you was on a 4-fight losing streak over a course of 3 years. So I think I take that into more credibility than that Nick Diaz win he's coming off of. And I think I'm robbing the books with Brian Barbarina as an underdog, even as a small underdog at plus 100. I like him. I think he's just a little younger and he can take more damage. And Lawler's just a little older. You know, at 40 years older, you can't take too many elbows in the clinch.
And I was leaning Robbie, man.
You can still go. It's literally a pick 'em fight. Like,
nah, but I think you're right though, man. I think I'm gonna go with Barbarina. I mean, I think after coming off that big fight too, I remember that fight too. So like, I feel like he's gonna come out here and show and prove that he's gonna just look like the younger fighter. It's still gonna be a war and it's still gonna be back and forth. Might be a toss up at the end, but I feel like he might show that he looked like the younger fighter. Cause why are all these 40-year-olds on here, man?
Because their names.
Yeah, but you also got to remember this 40-year-old was champion at like 36 and defended his belt 3 times. So like his age is also just a number. Like Robbie Lawler, he's also like not one of them 40-year-olds that gets hit once or twice and drops. His last fight was still a war.
He gonna have to bring some shit to hurt that man.
What about you, Kev? You know how me and Mark riding. Are you going with the old dog here?
I was torn until you gave me. Paul just loves to say things a certain way, and like you kind of sound stupid going against that motherfucker. And Paul should be a UFC salesman. I feel like every pay-per-view, I feel like they should call Paul and they should be like, "Yo, I'm gonna need you to just go door to door." So I said,
"Push
hey,
this fighter.
Would you like to buy this?"
Paul.
So I'm taking to Barbarina because that fight with Matt Brown was so nice. I was at a gala watching that fight, and I remember just they're over here doing like they're doing their little stuff, and I'm just sitting here like, oh shit! Like, I had to go outside like 3 times watching that fight.
Yeah, damn.
So I'm taking Barbarina, and I'm gonna bet the house on it. Fuck it. Rent's due. Hey, it's July 2nd. Rent is due July 3rd. Rent is late July 4th. So if I don't have that rent, it's because I bet the house.
Yeah, boy, man. Robbie gonna come pick your crib up.
Damn, bro, you sound like you picking Robbie.
Nah, I'm just saying, the boy threw his crib out there. That'll be some shit.
I will say, I felt good betting Barbarina, but these next 3 fights is when shit gets a little murky.
A little yeasty.
This fight here, I honestly, these last 3 fights, all 3 could have been 5-rounders, and I think everyone would have been happier.
I feel like I'm not gonna be satisfied with them boys being 3-rounders. I might just Ultimate Fighter that shit. Like, hey man, fuck it, go another one.
Yeah. So we got 25-3, the Tarzan, the crazy man, Shawn Strickland versus Alex Pereira, the kickboxing legend, trying to fast track him into a title shot versus Izzy Adesanya, 5-1. how do y'all feel? Especially Kev. I let Kev go first because Kev's been watching the preview and the press conference. You're seeing the energy people are bringing right now. Who are you leaning or just leading up to this fight right now? The energy brought. What's going on?
Now everybody knows. The reason why I watch UFC, the reason why when Paul made the phone call and said, "Hey man, Totally Blitz Fight Club," I picked up. It's because of Israel Adesanya. So when I heard that this motherfucker Alex put full whatever knocked my dog out, and people were sitting there thinking this is the only person that could beat Israel Adesanya, reigning champion for the last 3 years, I said, I don't care who the fuck he's fighting. I need him to win this fight to get this fast track. Fuck it. That was how I was until 20 minutes ago. And I found out who the maniac known as Shawn Strickland is. And I was like, oh shit, him is busy, already got tech. I had to stop the press conference because they was beefing so hard. Motherfucking, I need Shawn Strickland has to come in and do some maniac shit and fuck this shit up. I don't know what the UFC is going to do with Alex after motherfucking this fight, but Shawn Strickland has to go crazy. But what is Shawn Strickland good at? What makes him able to sit down and tell the motherfucker, yo, I would murder you if I was out in the street?
I would tell you right now, this man has never lost in middleweight, 6-0. He had a motorcycle accident. He used to be a welterweight. Only lost the likes of like Prozimbo and Kamaru Usman, which are fucking dogs. So he's like that. Number 4 in this division. This fight reminds me of, y'all remember Derek Lewis versus Tai Tuivasa about like 6 months ago, 5 months ago, and it was inside Derek Lewis's hometown. I see it as like the same similar setup because Pereira is a Tai Tuivasa in this situation. He's good at one thing. He is a kickboxer and he is world class. Shawn Strickland, he's been in the UFC. He's been here for a minute. He's good at everything. You don't make the top 5 in that division without being able to go to the ground and to stand up. Like, you can do everything. But Shawn Strickland, like Kev's seen, the maniac himself, is a very prideful man. And it all depends. Is Shawn Strickland going to use his wrestling and use his experience, all that, or is he going to be prideful with his stand-up game and try to go 3 rounds with this world-class kickboxer, Alex Pereira? And that's what I see to me as like the defining point of this fight. What is Shawn Strickland going to do? Is he going to, because like just like Derek Lewis, he didn't use any of his wrestling. He just was like, oh, Tai Tuivasa likes to stand and bang. Let's stand and bang. And then he got knocked out. So it's like, are you going to stand and bang with this guy because of your pride? Or are you going to actually fight him as like another, like a title contender? Because if you actually picture Pereira as a title contender, I'm going to use my wrestling. I'm going to use the dirty boxing. I'm going to do everything in my arsenal to beat you, not just stand there and be prideful and stand and bang for 3 rounds. Which is Shawn Strickland's known to do because that man's a fucking maniac.
Wild monster.
Hey, I like the kickboxing style, but I'm gonna lean Strickland, man. I hope he comes out with that dog in him, and like you said, I hope he comes out with that smart game plan and doesn't really overthink it, maybe. But I think he's gonna come out with this energy, man. Especially what I'm hearing from this press conference. That maniac energy, man. I feel like that shit gonna bleed out.
This is literally a pick 'em. -110 on both sides. No one's a plus underdog. They're both -110.
That's cool. How the fuck did Dana coming up? Fucking Dana just with the picks.
Matchmaking on point.
And this is the 3rd fight out. This ain't co-main or main. This is 3rd fight out.
I gotta go with Shawn, man. I gotta see, bro. I don't need to see him hurt something. I want to see him really break something.
I'm kind of scared though, because Alex Pereira in his last 2 fights, I know his last fight he fought Bruno Silva, who's unranked, but welterweight's so deep, you can be unranked and still be a dog. And Bruno Silva has heavy hands, and he's a motherfucker in the grappling game. And he went 2-8 in his takedowns. And even when he took him down in the last fight with Pereira, because we actually covered that card, Pereira got right back up, like right afterwards. So he's like 6'5" in this division. He's massive. So I'm gonna go Strickland. I'm gonna ride it. I do want to be different than y'all and go Pierre, but I'm gonna ride Strickland because my money's on Strickland. Because I bet on Strickland a couple of days ago when he was a plus money underdog, and I was just like, anytime Strickland's an underdog, especially against a 5-1 opponent, get that underdog money. So, but yeah, Strickland here. Hopefully he uses his wrestling and he uses his bag, because if he does try to go straight up prideful, let's just stand and bang, I think it might be kind of scary.
Better come with that game plan, man.
Hey, man, I'm going to be so high because this fight card is done by this point that I'm going to be screaming at them. I'm going to be screaming at them during this fight. Like, get him, Shawn! Get up! I'm really
get up, Shawn!
Some Rocky shit, the wife.
This is going to be a long, good card. And shout out anybody that's listening, anybody that's been watching, anybody that's peeping, even if you're skimming through. I don't care if you're working out right now, you at the office, or you just taking a shit. Whoever caught up and stayed with us to watch this shit, we appreciate y'all, boy, because we finna get into some good-ass co-main event and the co-main event. But this fight card's been so fucking long and so nice, bro. I just don't know what I'm going to be able to do with myself this Saturday.
And y'all are welcome, because if y'all listen to the show already, you know that we always pick winning picks. And we might not always pick the round when people win, but we tell you whether it's going to go to decision or it will be a stoppage. And we have been pretty accurate on our stoppages.
Yes, sir.
So we still have 2 more fights to talk about. We got the co-main event and main event. We got fucking belts on the line. We got Bulkanovsky versus Max Blessed Holloway. This is the fucking trilogy. These boys have fought twice already. Both fights are fucking razor thin. Both went to decision. And now we get to see the trilogy and arguably who's the GOAT of featherweight. I'm going to let y'all go. I know y'all know a lot about this fight.
Oh, bro, this shit is fucking crazy. But I'm gonna let Marcus go first because we talking about the best boxing in the UFC from what I've been told.
This one's got me stuck all week because
this is a fucking close fight.
Holloway, bro, is a fucking demon when it comes to boxing. And like, especially, who was it that he was talking shit to, man?
Calvin
Kattar, who is the best, who's arguably one of the top 3 boxers into the, like, pure boxer. He's that guy. And to be able to do that.
Whooped his ass and weaving shots, talking about screaming shit like he's Ali, bro. I went thought Ali did that shit, man. Talking about he's the best boxer in the game. Weaving shots.
I'm the best boxer.
Yeah, and then tagging his dumb ass weaving. I'm like, bro, that is the nicest shit I've ever seen, bro.
That looked like some like shit you do to your little brother, like,
right, bro. I would feel like shit if I was fucking homeboy missing all them shots.
That's the same fight where Max Holloway, because this is 2 fights ago for him. His last 2 fights was the Calvin Kattar fight where that happened, and he broke the record for most significant and most strikes landed in a fight. He landed like 412 significant strikes. 400 plus significant strikes. Like, if you land over 100 significant strikes, you was doing damage. Like,
and you seen his face, like you can tell, like all 400 of them bitches hurt
and hit
while talking to Dana White on the sideline. And like, it only makes things better if you truly understand UFC and you watch Kattar versus Emmett. Even though Emmett won that fight, we watched Calvin Kattar put on a boxing clinic against a top 6 UFC featherweight in the division. So like there are levels to it, and like when they fight each other, they have to change how they fight each other than how they fight anyone else in the division.
And fun fact about that clinic, more like emergency room that he put on Calvin Kattar, motherfucking, he was locked. They were really locked down. He was in Hawaii at the time of the shit, so they were really, really locked down. So he didn't have a training partner. He didn't have a coach. He was him in the midst, going crazy.
He is considered arguably, and like I'm not just saying this myself. I've seen people on Twitter community back this statement up. He's the greatest small gym fighter ever. You don't know, and there has no other fighter in his gym. You can't name who his trainers are. When he fought Volkanovski, like other than what Kev just said, when he had no trainer for the fight against Cater and put on a fucking one of the best performances of all time in UFC. And then when he fought Volkanovski in the rematch, and where I and a lot of other people think he won the rematch, he was doing training over Zoom because of the shutdown. He didn't have his training coach or nothing in front of him. He was over Zoom doing the shit. And he went out and did that. So he's considered like the best. Like a lot of people give him the nickname like No Coach Holloway, like shit like that. Like he's just like he's that dude. Like you can't just not love. Like he's like the AI of UFC. You cannot not love this dude.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
And it's hurtful. It's hurtful for me to do what I gotta do this fight, right?
You motherfucker.
I gotta do it.
That boy leaked it out. That boy leaked it.
I gotta do it, man. Here's the thing. Adesanya is the reason why I watch UFC. Bulkanovsky is the reason why I tune in every Saturday, though. I did, but I found out that these dudes, like, they train together. They both city kickboxing. They be affiliated. And I was like, that makes all sense now, because I fuck with both these dudes a long way. So, like, I can't switch on my dog CKB for life.
Wow.
That repping like that.
CKB for life. It's because I got the chest tag. You didn't know I got the chest tag. CKB for life.
So
you feel me? So I gotta rock with Ski, man. But Holloway's coming to do some damage.
Before I throw this to Marcus and let him make his pick, I will say Volkanovski has gone better with mixing the takedowns in with the strikes. And we are going to see basically like the Volk all around this versus Max's insane stand-up. But that's the ignorant way of looking at it, because Max Holloway didn't get to this point without having great ground game and great ground defense. Like he's still in his own right can do what he needs to do.
He's dangerous, man. And I looked at when you look at the first two fights, I look at him like, I'm glad you put in that point, because when I look at the old fight, like Hair Volkanovski versus Bald Volky, I don't know, man. Bald Volky's a different breed, dog. And like, I don't think anybody has the upper hand in this fight. I think it generally comes to like, who has that dog in them? Who's really gonna go to that last round and just sit down and be like, I'm going to die right here, homie.
Mark, are you splitting it 50-50 or are you riding the wave?
Oh man, bro, like I said, man, it's been on me all week, stuck. Cause like what Hollywood fucking Max was doing before, like when he had the belt, like he was going on his run, and then what he's doing now, like he's on a good streak now leading into this fight, bro. It's so hard to go against Max, man, because like
he's hot.
Here boxer, bro. I love that shit, bro. And like he just looked too nice, and I feel like he might be hitting his prime right now or something, coming off these dubs. And that's crazy to say because his resume is deep. So it's like, damn, but
you know what this rivalry reminds me of?
Alexander the Great, man.
Yeah!
What are you talking about? Alexander the Great, man. You know what I'm saying? Right? You can't go against the great, man. Max is good and shit, but like he said, man, bald Volky. Bald Volky, man. Stop playing with him, man. He's the fucking top 3 pound for pound? Yeah, stop. But
yeah.
I think
there's gonna be 2 sad motherfuckers when it comes Saturday night, because Max Holloway's going in there and he's getting the fucking belt back.
Better shoey on it.
I put a shoey on it, but like, but Max, he won that second fight. You can't argue me otherwise. Volkanovski won that first. Volkanovski won the first. I don't think it was even an argument.
I feel like in the second one, like Volky probably you could argue maybe 2 rounds, But I feel like he only had like one round.
The knockdowns Holloway was getting in the second round, like there is like, I give it to Max.
It was a one of those.
And coming in, so we go off the past 2 fights since then. Volkanovsky beat Brian Ortega, but Brian Ortega, T-City Ortega, was this close from being the champion. Literally, like this close. Like Volkanovski's not unbeatable like that. And then he beats the Korean Zombie, who was a fill-in fighter for Holloway. And we all knew Korean Zombie wasn't gonna win that fight. Let's be real, we love him, but he wasn't gonna win it.
It's the heart of a champion, man.
And then Holloway goes out and puts on all-time great performance against Calvin Kattar, which makes him look like a boy. Goes out there, beats Yair Rodriguez. No one wants to fight him. He's the boogeyman of the division. He goes out there and beats him. Coming into it, Max Holloway, I think he's getting it, bro. He's getting this fight, and we'll see a quadrilogy of this fight. We'll see a 4th one after Max walks out with this belt.
Never underestimate the heart of a champion.
From Alexander the Great, man, just the way he can mix it up with the ground, like you said, the ground and his stand-up game. I feel like I think this right here is the fight of the night for sure. For me, it's hands down. It's gonna get fight of the night, man.
Is it going all 5 rounds? Is it going to decision?
No, this is where it tricks him.
Yeah.
Max can't let it go to decision. There's no way in life that in his game plan anything says let this go 5 rounds. I don't think Volky wants to go 5 rounds either, though. I think they're both coming up.
Get it out of there.
So this is where technique comes in, because I think if it stays up top, Max is a fucking different breed. But
old Volky though,
Volky can mix it up and get up out of there. He understands he can adapt. So I feel like if he gets to lose in the beginning rounds, he can adjust, and then that's how it's gonna go. But really, you know what this rivalry reminds me of?
Who?
Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart. Like, I'm like, this is how big this is. Like, I'm calling Max Holloway, Max Hitman Holloway from now on. Like, that's the Hitman right there. He taking out everybody, but my dog Volky, he got Vince McMahon on his side.
We have never seen something like this where there's 2 guys in the same division that just completely outclass anybody else in the division. Because they're completely you sign them up for that fight and you know it's gonna be a slaughter. But when they fight each other, it's a fucking war. And like this is the greatest, I think the greatest fucking like it might not be the biggest promotion, but the greatest rivalry in UFC history when it comes to talent versus talent, it's these 2.
They're the top 2 greatest ever, and they're trying to fight to see who is for real.
And this is a trilogy. All 3 fights was for the belt, man, and it's a co-main event, bro. That shit is crazy.
I didn't know that the first belt, Volky took the belt from Holloway. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Max was on like a decent little run. That's what I was saying. Like, it's hard to be like, go against him because he was on a run and Volky came out, took his belt. And then,
the featherweight GOAT is usually considered Jose Aldo, which Max Holloway completely dismantled. No one could believe the dismantling that they seen on the stand-up game that Max Holloway did to Jose Aldo, because no one could stand up with Jose Aldo like that. So like that just puts in perspective how much greater, like Jose Aldo's probably still up there in the GOAT talks for that division just because all his title defenses, but these 2 have both outclassed Jose Aldo. And that just shows you, like, Max Holloway came into UFC at 20. He sounds like a vet. He's only 30 years old because he's been in UFC for 10 years, but he came in at 20 years old.
I low-key thought he was.
That's crazy.
So yeah, like, so I can't remember which one of y'all. One of y'all said that y'all think Holloway's entering his prime right now, and I agree with you because like you can be a great fighter in your mid-20s, but you don't have the IQ yet. You don't realize where you beat people and how to like this.
He's like it's coming together for him where he got the IQ and his skill set. I feel like it's just meshing perfect right now. I'll give you that for real.
And give me the plus 175 dog in Holloway. Just because I also think he won that second fight. And anytime I feel like you won that fight, like especially at those odds, give me the dog.
I will say Volky gotta if he's gonna win this, I feel like he gotta make it more don't put it in the judges' hands and have
more
everybody
decisive. Because even if you go to judges, you can go to the judges with a decisive win.
Yeah, like make it so at least not all these people are, saying like, oh, you should like go at it, man. And also I feel like Max is gonna have to really put it on him now that he knows that the judges, Max might not put it in the judges' hands. Who knows, man? This one's a crazy one.
All right. Let's talk even crazier. We got the main event. We got main event T-Mobile.
The fact that wasn't the main event is insane.
Right, bro.
That's already nuts.
And they say this is a big deal because Bruh's from Australia, Volky's from Australia, Israel's from Izzy's from New Zealand. So that's a big deal for the Oceania. That's a big deal for like their side of the world right now. Like to see both of their champions up there on top. And then maybe one day they'll do a big, well, maybe not New Zealand. Izzy say you don't fuck with New Zealand. But maybe they'll do international fight week on some crazy shit out there in Australia like that.
Like Sydney, London.
Mm-hmm. But this is a great motherfucking main event. And like this card has been amazing. Our viewers, we appreciate all of y'all for fucking with us and listening with us, man. But Marcus, man, what you know about these two, man? Start us off, man. What you know about them boys?
I know we talking about the GOAT.
We got Contender versus Izzy. Style Bender Adesanya.
Hey, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Bro came down from heavyweight. That is crazy. That shit blows my mind for real because I'm looking at it in like a boxing perspective to go down from like 200 or whatever he was. What was he like 205?
No, when he was fighting Kanye, when you talk about Kanye, right? Yeah, when he was fighting at heavyweight, like he was coming in like fight day, like 225, 240, because think about it, like you might weigh in as that, but you're putting on weight before the fight because homeboy across from you is 250.
Yeah, he's gonna rehydrate right after the weigh-in and eat a good steak and fucking potatoes or some shit.
Best meal ever.
And he came in big. Yeah, no, he is like he has that right hand cannon for a reason. That weight don't make a difference.
That shit really is crazy to get all the way down to what is it, 185, man? And like he looks good at 185. That's the thing. Like he looks comfortable. He looks good in his weight. He looks like obviously the stronger guy in most fights because of that. He got that heavyweight power coming down, and that shit just is crazy to me how he's gotten that good of a shape to drop that and be able to make weight consistently at 185. I give him that.
I respect the fact that he started off this while he was being I want to say he was doing truck. He was working for a truck company or maybe air traffic company. He was doing this in Anchorage, Alaska. What the fuck?
They was working full-time job.
Like it's the fact that you came all the way here to be headlining UFC 276 in Las Vegas. That's a dream come true, man. Like,
hey, that's why you
so regular. I came out to a press conference in a do-rag. Like, bro's regular as fuck. Like, shout out, homie, for making it all the way this far and the grind. That's fucking insane. Like, he has a one-kind story for real.
Facts.
But we got my dog, the Style Bender. Left. He can hit you with a left or right. They say he's never gone for a takedown in his life. It don't matter. Not lying. But Paul, what do you take on this? Because you know who I got. So what do you take on this? How do you break this down? Because Contender is a strong. He does have power. He had power all the way at heavyweight. He has crazy power now. But he was losing to Derek Brunson until the knockout. And Israel Adesanya says he's going for a knockout. So this may be a brawl. So we don't know what could happen. So let me know.
I hope Izzy goes for the knockout because Izzy has the stigma attached to him as a born fighter because he likes to stand from the outside, not throw a lot, and just counter strike. He's a counter striker.
He be picking his shots.
Yeah, he counter strikes. He doesn't throw first. He usually throws second. And so that's why a lot of people give him that born fighter stigma. He doesn't have many knockouts. And I think he knows he should beat Kanye, and I think that's why he's probably going to be going for the knockout. because Cannonier doesn't bring like a wrestling like Vittori and then brought, so like he doesn't have to worry about takedowns. He's gonna be fighting them on a stand up where he's world class stand up fighter, so he's not really worried. But I will say, I think this fight is what Paulo Acosta versus Izzy Adesanya was supposed to be, because I think Cannonier has the power to really, if Izzy gets a little overconfident and wants to stand and bang, Cannonier could land a strike or two that makes him question that stand and bang mentality of like to start making him pick it. Like I don't think Izzy gets the knockout. I think Izzy goes a decision because of the fact that Cannonier has that power, makes him like, oh shit, like I can't sit here and stand and bang with this guy because this motherfucker has the power of a 225.
In his last fight against Whitaker, he says he didn't trust his instincts enough. And he could have got Whitaker out of there, but he said, nah, let me just stick to the game plan. I feel like if he feels an opening, if he feels Cannonier slowing down, or if he sees him get slower, he times it right. He could get a good hit on the chin, and that could be what starts making that boy tumble. I don't know.
No, I agree, but the same thing, I've seen a lot of these. I've seen the 22-1. Like I know the people like Anderson Silva lost for the same reason of like, I think I'm better than these people. And that's the same mentality Adesanya brings to the game. So like, and he eventually lost, and like shit like that happen. Like there's people who have lost because of their own mindset. And that's my one fear of Adesanya is like, because he's almost about to run a full circle on like, other than Shawn Strickland, he's about to run a full circle on like the UFC top 15 for the middleweights. And that sometimes kind of gets in your head where not like that you don't have to worry about it, but you feel comfortable, and you never want to feel comfortable when you're fighting.
Yeah, he might lay back a little bit.
I don't know, man. Looking for the John Jones fight, maybe if he can lap the whole division.
Oh, John Jones would kill him, bro. Like just he couldn't even beat Jan, and Jan just lost. Jan lost the glow. Like John Jones was a different breed at 205. Like John Jones it wouldn't even be a close. That's why I love Izzy, but Izzy at 185 is a different breed, but he cannot move up because he's too skinny.
Yeah. You don't think him and Yuri would be a crazy fight?
Maybe just because Yuri's not his biggest weak, like the styles make fights. So when he fights another stand-up fighter, he might win like against a Yuri. But like if he goes against a Glover, it's not gonna be like all those other fighters. Like anyone who has a decent ground game and 205 will probably beat him.
Now, Marcus, I'm not trying to persuade you or anything or like try to like make you pick your such a way. But I do have 200 pounds of dynamite inside your house right now, and all I have to do is press one button for it to detonate. So, who are you picking for this fight?
Man, easy money, man. Easy, bro.
Hey,
I go, man. I got to go, and I'm really hoping, like Paul said, man. I hope he can get the go for a knockout. It's gonna be hard because you gotta be mindful of that power in the right hand, but I hope he can get a knockout, man. Big main event, big pay-per-view, a lot of eyes on him, and just get that statement and really show people he can close out fights, man. It could be a late round stoppage or
I would love a late round stoppage.
And just like maybe just out of nowhere, everyone's going crazy. He turns it up maybe in the fourth or some shit. But
and then he'd be in there like, they say I'm a boy, and then he talk shit like, they say I'm a born fighter. How?
Yeah, so I hope he comes in with that type of mindset for real, and that will be exciting, man. But Izzy is one of my favorite fighters to watch just because he's a cool dude outside the cage, and
very cool.
Yeah, so I got Izzy all the way, man. That was even a fucking second thought in my head.
I dressed up for that boy Izzy. I was like, oh, too sad. Izzy, I was playing. I gotta dress a little nice today.
That shit hard. You mind showing the viewers what type of shirt you got on right now? That shit is hard as fuck.
But Izzy, anime fan, so I had to throw on something at least anime related. But I see what the buzz up.
You gotta plug us in with the website for that one. That shit hard.
But I think Izzy wins. But I do say decision. I don't think he gets the knockout. Like Derek Brunson has heavy hands, and Derek Brunson was putting on a show. He even hit his ass with an elbow a couple times, and Cannonier didn't drop. And Cannonier eventually got the knockout, and even though I thought he was losing, he won that fight. And that's why I think it'll be somewhat closer. Because I think Izzy might try to brawl, but come the third round, Izzy's just gonna, not coast, but Izzy's gonna play it comfortable and just outwork him. Like, that's how he fought Whitaker. He just completely just showed like, I'm the better striker. I'm not gonna over engage. I'm not gonna get on the inside with a smaller fighter. I'm gonna use my range. I'm gonna hit you and not get hit. And that's what he's gonna do. And I think he gets the unanimous decision. And hopefully we get the Shawn Strickland versus Israel Adesanya after this, or Pierre versus Adesanya, however that fight goes.
You can't go wrong with either or, but I want that Shawn Strickland. I need Shawn Strickland to look like a straight up maniac.
A fucking dog. We got so many dogs on this card, bro. I wasn't gonna do it, but why not? I'm gonna take one more shot before you head out. I'm gonna let y'all got any closing. We got the Shawn Strickland Pierre fight, Robbie Lawler versus Barbarana, Sugar Shawn versus Pedro Muniz, Jalen Turner the Triantula versus Brad Rodell, Cowboy Cerrone maybe retiring versus another all-time great Jim Miller, Conor McGregor 2.0, Ian Gary versus another super prospect Gabe Green, ranked fighter Tavares versus kickboxing all finishes Duplessis, Uriah Hall, future Hall of Famer Dana White hater versus ranked fighter Andre Muniz. And then we got the women showing out. Jessica I should have been cut a long time ago versus Macy Barber, upcoming star. And that's UFC 276.
Hey, man. Hey, bro, tune in early, man. Tune in early, and it shit is just going to get better and better throughout the night. It's just going to get better. Great fight after great fight. Man, this time I'm making sure I'm tuned in this time. I ain't drinking on Saturday. I'm going to be locked in for these fights. Head to toe, man. That shit's going to be lit. I can't wait for this card.
Bro, I want you to understand, my Saturday is going to begin with me going to this Caribbean Fete type party thing because I got to go camera shoot for this. And then I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to watch UFC 276 from 6 o'clock. I don't know what time it starts, but for my schedule, it goes from get home at 3, nap till 6 o'clock to motherfucking time. And then I got to go back out to go shoot the ending of whenever this shit finishes. So hopefully it don't finish till 1. And then I got to go back out so I'll go shoot the ending of another glow party that they're having out there. So my day is going to be full of fighting, a lot of ass shaking, and it's going to be a great time.
No, and you got perfect timing because early prelims, which you don't want to miss, you got fucking ranked fighters, Uriah Hall, all them boys at 6 o'clock. And then we got the prelims, which will be on ABC for the first time, which is some. I'm not gonna lie, that's a big deal. That's the big contracts. ABC showing the prelims at 8, and then the main card at 10. So you should be wrapped up about 1.
Yeah, 1:30 is gonna be over.
And Sugar Shawn is probably the most motherfucking strategic marketer I've ever seen in my life. This motherfucker is walking around in a market and I'm watching the embedded vlogs right now, and he's walking around in a motherfucking watermelon green and pink jersey that says O'Malley on the back, and the rawest Christopher Font I've ever seen in my life. I want to call it purple, but that doesn't do it justice on what color this shit is. Lamborghini. Marketing genius. And then Izzy and Volky, they came out wearing each other's shirts, which is some real cool shit.
That's why I say that he's the tank of the UFC, because he hasn't, in the MMA community, hardcore fans is he haven't beat nobody. But he has the following of a Tank or a Ryan Garcia. He has the big build already. And I can't hate on it because there's no other UFC fighter that has that build. But I can't wait because all that build up, if he loses, it's it's a bad time. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, man. But hey, man, this has probably been the best fight night episode yet. This is probably the funnest one. It's crazy that there's been no boxing, so that was like perfect timing.
Yeah, what the hell? Hey, man, that's good. I'm trying to be locked in on this 276.
Yeah, I'm trying to be locked all the way.
Having two screens going, I can have my phone until I got to switch to the live stream. It's going to be perfect, man.
It's going to be fine, man. But, hey, man, that's the UFC 276. That's the preview. Catch us on the recap because it's going to be a lot of blood, a lot of fading, a lot of shit talking. And if you didn't know, I'll let Paul tell you, I can let Marcus tell you, but I don't mind. So I'm going to tell you that you's a big
problem with being problematic. Get the light beam on me, ready for electrostatic. Don't you step into this box if you're not batting. Then my gang got tools. You can call them boy crap, man. This gang got rules, man. You better watch your passes. This ain't nothing.